Welcome to Wisdom to Wealth. This is the podcast where I get to interview the wealthiest entrepreneurs and business owners in the world. I am your host, Shamar Star Cox, TV producer and marketing coach. My goal is to help 6 and 7 figure business owners create binge-worthy content that gets them seen, gets them paid, and get to live free. I am also the founder of the Convert Content to Cash Challenge. So if you are a business owner, you want to learn how to create content that sells in 5 days or less, feel free to DM the word challenge accepted on Instagram, LinkedIn, or TikTok, and I will personally send you an invite. Today is a special solo episode. I'm talking about if you're struggling to scale. So these are the business owners where you're already at 6 figures, you want to scale to multiple 6 figures, you want to scale to 7 figures, right? Even if you're at no figures, you want to scale to 6 figures. If you're struggling to scale, you don't have a money problem, you have a marketing problem. So I'm going to share with you the MAP method, which is going to help you to fix your marketing problem so that now you're actually reaching the people who you're called to serve without having to feel icky when you're selling and without having to feel awkward when you're actually presenting yourself on camera. So thank you all for joining me today. And I'm just going to jump right into this. I remember in 2022 or 2021, 2022, when I started my business, I remember that I did not want to do marketing. How many of you feel that way? Where you started your business and you thought, all I need to do is create the offer and sell the offer and I'll be good to go. And then you recognize that when you started your business, you also had to be the chief marketing officer as well, right? So that's where I was thinking that all I had to do was create the offer and then people will start buying it. And I was in for a rude awakening, realizing that, wait a second, if nobody knows me, they're not going to buy. So I needed to focus on this marketing, but I remember just feeling this resistance inside of me. Like I can't, there's no way that I can focus on this marketing because I'm not good at it. And I don't know exactly what it is. And I don't know what to do. Now, my background is a television producer. So I've worked in television for over a decade. I know how to create stories, content, shows that can pull together large audiences and connect them from all over the world. And yet, when it came to marketing, I felt like I don't know what to do. So I remember working with a coach, and she was helping me to design my program. And as we were designing my program, hey Gloss 80 official, thanks for joining me. As we were designing my program, I kept thinking, I kept telling her, I can't teach my clients marketing because I don't know it and I just can't do it. Like I can help them to create the content, but I can't help them to teach them marketing. I remember just feeling this adverse emotion to marketing. Who am I talking to right now? Where you created your program and the thought of marketing makes you feel like I want to throw up, like I can't do this, right? So that was 2022. By June 2023, at this point, I had been making 10K a month. So I was at $60,000 in my business. I was making 10K a month in 2023. By June 2023, I realized, wait a second, this is marketing. The reason why I was making so much money so quickly in my business is because I had thrown myself into marketing and didn't even know that that's what it was. So I'm going to share with you this definition of marketing, and I will implore you to write this down, get it in your bones, get it in your system, because once you understand it, then you realize anything could be marketing. But you want to focus on the marketing that's actually going to help you to scale and actually going to help you to generate wealth in your business. So, what is the definition? Marketing is clearly communicating to people how you can help them. So, one more time, marketing is clearly communicating to people how you can help them, right? Now, there are at least 4 major parts to marketing that is important. But before I get into that, by June 2023, I realized the reason why people were buying from me and they kept buying from me and they were referring other people to buy from me was because I was clearly communicating to them how I can help them. This is where a lot of you get stuck because even though in your businesses you are successful, you're making 30K months, 40K months, 50K months, a lot of you have built your business off of word of mouth. or you've built it off of referrals. Some of you get to do in-person speaking engagements and you're leveraging someone else's audience. And then you think, let me go to social media and just start posting content, and now the audience will come to me. And you've been doing that for some months, even for years, and you're not seeing the same traction. And now in your mind, you're thinking social media is just not for me. Social media just doesn't work. Right? And the reality is, because when you're on social media as the expert, you're not clearly communicating to your audience how you can help them. It's easy to do it when you're in person because you can feel out the room. So for those of you who are accustomed to speaking on stages, you're accustomed to speaking in memberships and workshops, it's because you can feel out the room so you can easily communicate to them what they desire. But when you're on video, there's no feeling out nothing. It's just you and the reflection of you. You don't even know if people are watching. And so now it makes you feel uncomfortable. And it's like, well, I don't really know what they want. Right. But that's where I'm able to help my clients. I help you to understand what your dream clients want from you, what they need to see from you on social media in order for them to buy from you. So that now social media isn't just this place where it's a popularity contest where all the bigger influencers are getting the traction, but it becomes this place where it now is your second or third source for lead generation and revenue accumulation, right? So different parts of marketing is traffic, lead gen, lead nurture, and lead conversion, right? So really understanding when I'm creating my content, what traffic am I bringing in? And I don't mean like traffic as in you're in a traffic jam. I'm talking about the amount of people who are seeing your videos, the amount of people who are actually engaging on your content. You want to make sure that you have a platform that can push out your content so that now you are getting a lot of traffic. Now, here's the thing. Some of you may have witnessed this, that you have been posting on Instagram for many years. And in 2020 and 2021, on Instagram, you were getting a lot of traffic. You were getting hundreds of thousands of views. And now you're in 2025 and you recognize barely anyone is seeing your content. Nothing has changed with you, but the algorithm has changed so much that now your content is not even being seen, and your traffic has gone from lots of people seeing you to barely anyone seeing you. And now, no matter what you do, no matter how much content you post, how much you change your messaging, people just aren't seeing your content. And you're thinking to yourself, I must be blocked. Who am I talking to right now where you're putting out your content on? Hey, Amanda. Hey, Miguel. You're putting your content out on Instagram and barely anyone is seeing it. And now you're thinking to yourself, I must be blocked. Instagram must have me blocked. But the reality is they don't have you blocked. You are just, this platform isn't generating the amount of traffic that you need. So sometimes it's a spiritual thing, and sometimes it's an algorithm thing, right? So some of you are probably like, what do you mean it's a spiritual thing? This actually happened to me where God was calling me to a new platform, which is YouTube. So I'm actually posting more on YouTube now, but God was calling me to a new platform. And because of my disobedience, I wasn't moving. I was just like, I'm comfy with Instagram. I'm comfy with TikTok. This is where I'm going to stay. And guess what happened? All my leads, all my traffic dried up on Instagram. It didn't matter what I posted. And I would talk to different coaches and I would ask them, what's wrong with my content? That's where some of you are right now. You're asking different coaches, what's wrong with my content? And they're telling you there's nothing wrong with your content. The reality is you're just being called or pushed to another platform. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but acknowledge it and move. Why is this important? Because the people that you are called to reach are on that platform. It's not to say that they're not on Instagram. They are, but the way that they consume content on another platform is different. And they need to see you in a different light in order for them to actually work with you. So my question to you is, what platform are you being called to? Are you being called to LinkedIn? Are you being called to YouTube? Are you being called to X? Like, what platform are you being called to so that you can actually reach your audience and go back to increasing your traffic? Sometimes we can get pigeonholed to a platform all because we think, well, other people are doing it. That's fine. That's the season that they're in. But for you, especially if you are a kingdom entrepreneur and a kingdom business owner, God knows what type of clients you serve. And he knows what type of content they need to see from you in order for them to come in droves and buy from you. So instead of trying to make Instagram work, trying to make TikTok work, and I'm pretty sure Instagram is going to be trying to block this video right now. Instead of trying to make it work, start praying and asking, what platform should I be on? Now, for those of you who are not Christian, who are not spiritual, that's okay. Hold on a little bit. Hold on a little bit. I'm just talking to my Christian entrepreneurs because this is something that happened to me. And several times I was told you need to be on YouTube. Since 2012, actually, I was told you need to be on YouTube. And I had been running from it. I had been avoiding it. And God finally said to me, why don't you just start posting on YouTube and see what happens? And I'm like, okay, right? But this is super important because when you're putting out content, the goal isn't to just put out content, just put out content. The goal is to put out content with a purpose, and that purpose is profits. But the only way to get to your profits is to actually be in a space to serve your audience. So I want to bring up this story by Jesus, right? And so Jesus, when he was ministering in Nazareth, this was his hometown. He was ministering in Nazareth, right? And he was performing miracles. But the word says that he could barely perform any miracles in there because of the lack of faith that the people had. They barely had any, they didn't have any faith. They were too familiar with him. They kept looking at him like, didn't we raise him? Didn't we wipe his butt? Like, weren't we training him inside the synagogue? And now he's coming talking about he could perform these miracles. And so because of their lack of faith in him, he could barely perform miracles in that place. And then he went up the block to Cana. And guess what? He performed many miracles. Why? Because right message, wrong audience will always equal no sales. Right message, wrong audience will always equal no sales. But right message, right audience will equal hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars in sales. So what did Jesus do in order for him to increase his traffic and be able to serve? He changed his location. He went to Cana. And when he went to Cana, the people received him. So if you find yourself feeling like you're blocked on social media right now, it's the algorithm. It's that it could be that you're being called to another platform. Now, let me tell you right now, none of that was in my notes. So where did that come from? The Holy Spirit. Because my notes is all about, here's how you can increase your traffic. Here's how to increase your lead gen, right? And here I am talking about it's time for you to change your platform. Especially if you're a business owner where you are following God and he is leading you in your business, it's best to go where the glory cloud is going. And what do I mean by that? I mean, when the children of Israel was in the wilderness, God led them by a cloud by day and a fire by night. And wherever the cloud went, they needed to follow. If they didn't, they were no longer under his covering. So for some of you, your grace on certain platforms is up. And now he has graced you for another platform. The question is which platform to be on. And when you get to that platform, how do you monetize it quickly? Because you don't want to be on that platform creating content that nobody is seeing. You're not monetizing. And then you're like, did I really hear God? You did. But sometimes working with a coach can help you, right? Like for me, every time I went to a new platform, I always hired a coach. When I moved over to TikTok, I hired 3 TikTok coaches actually to understand TikTok. Actually, Instagram is the only platform I did not hire a coach for. When I moved over to LinkedIn, I hired a LinkedIn coach. And now I'm on YouTube. I will soon have a YouTube coach, right? So sometimes you're trying to go about it by yourself, but I want you to think about this. The children of Israel, when they were moving in the wilderness, who led them? If you're listening and you're able to write in the chat, I want you to write this in the chat. I want you to write the answer in the chat. The children of Israel, when they were in the wilderness, who led them in the wilderness? I'll give you some time to write. If you don't understand, if you don't know, it's okay. I will share the answer soon, right? But I just want to give you some time to write that in the chat. When the children of Israel, they were in the wilderness, there was a particular person who led them in the wilderness. Who led them in the wilderness? You could just write it in the chat. If I don't see it in a little bit, then I'll go ahead and say it. But I know that there's a delay sometimes. But who led them in the wilderness, right? It was Moses. Moses led them in the wilderness. They didn't go to the wilderness by themselves. When they were leaving Egypt, they didn't go by themselves. They actually had a leader. And so if you feel like, you know what, I'm just going to try to conquer this on my own, go ahead. But it's just going to take longer. If the children of Israel had the mindset, I'm going to leave Egypt on my own, I don't need any help, they'd probably still be in Egypt. They actually needed a leader to go before them, one who was anointed to go before them. And because they followed Moses, they were able to be successful until fear hit, but that's a whole other story, right? So if you find yourself, okay, I need to go to a new platform and I need help, you can feel free to join us in the Convert Content to Cash Challenge. The platforms that we teach are Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn, right? So if you are on LinkedIn and you recognize I've hit LinkedIn to a certain point now and I need to be on a new platform, try out Instagram and TikTok. Now, some of you who are on LinkedIn, you have a mindset that Instagram and TikTok, your dream clients aren't here because you're selling high ticket. And so now you're thinking, there's no way I can be able to sell high ticket on Instagram and TikTok. But I'll tell you right now, that's how I built my business so successful, because I sell $10,000 packages on Instagram and TikTok. So your client, they are on these platforms. They're just showing up differently. And so our goal is to show you how to create the content that speaks directly to them, especially if you're accustomed to doing long form content and you don't know how to do short form content. We show you how to do that in the Convert Content to Cash Challenge. And you can actually get access to that by just DMing the word challenge accepted. Join us in the challenge. We teach you how to create content that sells in 5 days or less. If you send me a DM that says challenge accepted on Instagram, LinkedIn, or TikTok, I will personally send you an invite to the challenge. If you're on Instagram, thank you, Miguel. Yeah, Miguel wrote it in the chat. If you're on Instagram, you can feel free to comment right now in this live, challenge accepted, and I'll personally send you an invite to the challenge. Our challenge is going to be April 7th to 11th. And it is 5 days. And during those 5 days, we teach you how to create content that sells. We teach you how to create the content that speaks to your dream client. Because here's another thing when it comes to your marketing. If people do not understand how you help them, they're not going to buy. Another way of saying that is a confused mind never buys. So where you're accustomed to going into schools and sharing proposals, now you're being shifted into a season where you need to speak to the people directly. And what's coming out of your mouth is a message mismatch to the market. And you don't understand why it's not working. It works when you're releasing proposals, when you're talking to school heads. It works when you're talking to corporations. But now when it's coming to speaking to the individuals, it's not working. Why? Because your message isn't clear to them. And if your message isn't clear to them on social media, here's how you really sound. Like Charlie Brown's teacher. Nobody understood her, so they won't understand you, right? So our goal in the challenge is to help you to be able to create the content that speaks clearly to your audience and also lets them know this is the person who I am called to work with, right? So that's marketing. That's the first part of marketing, really understanding that so that now you are reaching your dream clients and they're coming to you. Now, here's the thing. Social media marketing is not the only form of marketing. There are lots of different forms of marketing, like content marketing, email marketing, endorsed marketing, right? Endorsed marketing is where you leverage someone else's audience so that you're now speaking to their audience and their audience is buying from you and vice versa, right? And then there's referral-based marketing, ads, there's word of mouth marketing, speaking engagements. There's lots of different types of marketing. But the main important goal for marketing is for you to clearly communicate your message to your audience so that they know how you can help them. So whether it's word of mouth, whether it's referrals, which is typically how my clients come to me, because there's a lot of you're getting clients through word of mouth and referrals, which is good, but it's a little slow. Or if it's not slow, you're being called to a higher platform. You're being called to expand, right? And so my specialty is helping you increase your visibility online. So there's a lot of you where you're successful in person, but you're invisible online. And it's frustrating because you want your money you want your profitability to match your visibility. And it's not. Right now, there's a lot of you where your profits are great, but your visibility is not. And because of that, it is hindering you from landing speaking engagements. It's hindering you from being on bigger platforms, from being on high profile podcasts. So what we do is we come in and we help you to increase your visibility. You choose the platform, we'll help you to increase the visibility so that now you're reaching your dream clients on a larger scale. Why? Because they've been praying for you. It's exactly that. They have been praying for someone who can help them with their relationships. They have been praying for someone who can help them with their health and their wellness. They've been praying for someone who can help them make more money in their business, but they can't find you. These are the folks that are not going to come through word of mouth and referrals, because the people in your network right now aren't connected to these people. In order for these people to find you, they're going to find you online. But if you keep thinking that social media is a playground where people just want to be nosy, where you're just dancing and hopping on trends, then you'll never be able to reach the people who are not in your network. And the goal as an entrepreneur is not to build a business that only a few people hear about. The goal is to build a business that lasts a legacy, that lasts a lifetime and leaves a legacy. I'm sure there's a lot of you on here where you didn't create your business. Hey, Yvette, how you doing? I'm sure there's a lot of you on here. You didn't create your business for only one person to hear about it, right? Like, tell me, it looks like I'm frozen on Instagram, but tell me, why did you start your business? Did you start it for one person to hear about it? Probably not. I'm pretty sure you started it so that you can make an impact, because you went through something and now you have the answer to help someone else transform their life. Only thing is, a few people are hearing about it. And though that few people may be making you six figures, they may be making you multiple six figures. You have been called to millions. You've been called to billions. There's some of you where your business is supposed to be on the same level as Apple or higher. But because you don't have enough visibility, people don't know about you. So that's what we help you to do in the Convert Content to Cash Challenge. Hey, Miss Javaria, how you doing? We help you to do that in the Convert Content to Cash Challenge, so that now when you're putting out your content, it's not going just to your parents or your spouse. That's what's happening to some of you right now. You're putting out content and your spouse is writing like, hey, just want to support you. Or your best friend is like, hey, just want to support you. And it's nice getting the support. It's better getting the sales, right? So awesome. Okay, so we're talking about the MAP method, how to master your marketing for wealth creation for business owners who are looking to scale. Your issue isn't a money problem, it is a marketing problem, and we are fixing that now. The first thing that we talked about with marketing is having a mindset shift and a platform shift. Some of you are holding on to Instagram, holding on to TikTok for dear life, or some of you are holding on to LinkedIn for dear life, and it's time for you to shift to a new platform. And the reason why your traffic has dried up or your leads has dried up is because you're on one platform too long. The goal when it comes to marketing is to be omnipresent like Jesus. Somebody write that in the chat. The goal is to be omnipresent like Jesus. He was everywhere. And I get it, because some of us in our minds, we're like, I don't want to be on too many platforms because it's exhausting. That's the point of having a team. You're to be everywhere. Your team is to make it so, right? So like for me, I always set a goal. When I started on Instagram and TikTok, I was building them up at the same time. My goal was to hit 6 figures and to hit a certain following on both those platforms. And I hit the financial goal. I didn't hit the following goal. So there I am. I hit the financial goal. And now I'm like, well, let me try to hit the following goal. And that thing was exhausting me. It was exhausting me because it didn't matter what I did. God still told me it's time for you to be on YouTube. So now I moved to 2 new platforms, which is YouTube and LinkedIn. So those are my new platforms that I'm building up right now, which makes sense because I'm actually targeting a different audience. Right? But the important thing is when you're starting out, set a goal for the platform, then move on. Once you hit the goal, move to the next platform. Some of you set the goal, you stay on the one platform and you're wondering why your leads are drying up, why the traffic is drying up. It's time for you to move to another platform. All right. So we did a mindset shift. The next one is amplify your presence. Amplify your presence. Being great at what you do isn't enough. If the right people don't see you consistently, they can't buy from you. So marketing helps you to stay visible, top of mind, and in demand so that clients come to you instead of you having to chase them, right? And so this is actually a real thing. I'll share my story in a little bit, but I actually want to talk about 2 people who I feel like their marketing was top notch. And that is Jesus and King Solomon. Their marketing was top notch. You want to know why? Because they leveraged content. They leverage content. Some of you on here like, how did Jesus leverage content? And there was no video or social media back then. His content was every time he was speaking. It was the stories that he was telling. It was the message that he had. They leveraged content. And because of that, they were top of mind. Think about it. Every time Jesus went from town to town, what did he do? Other than healing the people, that which is also part of his content, right? Other than healing the people, other than performing miracles, he taught them something. And it was in his teaching, they were able to see him as the expert. Oh, Mr. Varia, you're asking how YouTube is different from Facebook. I'll answer that in just a little bit, right? But Jesus, he was able to teach them something. And because he was teaching, they were able to see his expertise, and people wanted to buy into what it was that he was selling. Now, some of you feel uncomfortable with this because you feel uncomfortable with selling. So you haven't yet realized that Jesus was selling something. He was selling eternal life. And in order for the people to buy, he had to have content. And that content to this day is still being streamlined to a lot of us. That's why he's still converting people till this day. I mean, his marketing system and sales system was like powerful. One day I'll be able to go through it, right? But that's what we want to do. We want to leverage our content so that it's leaving a lasting legacy on the people who are watching it, reading it, partaking in it. King Solomon did the same thing. The word says he had 3,000 songs or poems. The man had speaking engagements. If you go to 1 Kings chapter 10, verse 21 to 23, it talks about people came from all over the world to seek him, all over the world, because his content was that good. So my question to you is, what is your content doing for you? Is your content bringing people from all over the world, or is your content still invisible? Is your content getting people to throw money at you? Or is your content just bringing in, oh, you're so inspiring? You're getting comments from people that say, you're so inspiring. Love your outfit. Because your content has the power to enter rooms before you do. Your content speaks on your behalf before people ever meet you. Your content has the ability to create relationships before anyone ever meets you. I remember a couple of years ago, someone said to me, hey girl, you were just in my dream. She said, I had a dream that you came to LA. We were hanging out and we were dancing together and doing videos together. We never met each other before in our life. But she had this dream because she felt like she knew me from my content. So it's the same thing with you. Your content should create relationships. Your content should have your audience feel seen and heard so that they want to buy from you. I get it. You hear things like the way that people buy from you is if they know, like, and trust you. But there's a lot of people who know, like, and trust you, and they still ain't buying. And that's because they don't feel seen and heard yet. And that's the power of your content. Hey, Chanel. All right. So Miss Javaria says how YouTube is different from Facebook. There's a couple of things that makes YouTube different from Facebook. It's the level of people who are showing up on YouTube. Like when people are going to YouTube, automatically they think long form content, anything that's over 10 minutes. Like I know for me, when I'm going on YouTube, I look for videos that are 1 hour long because during my morning routine, I don't want to have to keep clicking on different videos. I want to hear a video that's 1 hour long that's going to get me through my morning, right? So oftentimes when people are going to YouTube, they're thinking lengthwise, they're already prepared for it. This is especially for those of you who are great at educating, who are long-winded. They're already prepared to hear your content for a long period of time. Another thing is people are actually going to YouTube looking for something to learn. So oftentimes when people are on YouTube, they're looking for something to learn. Is that the only thing that they're using the platform for? No, they're not. They're also looking to be entertained as well. I have definitely watched Sailor Moon on YouTube. I don't know if it's still there, but I'll be doing that. My brother goes to YouTube and he listens to audiobooks, right? So YouTube is like this all-in-one platform for you to consume a lot of content. They are set up like a TV station where they're putting out shows and content in a way that you're consistently consuming it. So it makes it a lot easier for someone to get to know you and to enjoy a lot of time with you when you're on YouTube. Facebook, I'm gonna just say the biggest difference is they have DMs, which helps with DM marketing. So now when they're consuming your content, you can actually go ahead and DM them. That's a really big plus. That's a really big plus for any platform that have DMs, is that you can quickly monetize, because now after someone watches your content, you can slide in their DMs and have a conversation with them. Now, some of you in here is like sliding DMs. I feel uncomfortable about doing that. Okay, keep feeling uncomfortable about doing that and not scale your business. Scaling your business is all about serving your audience on a deeper level. And DM marketing helps you to do that. If you're not comfortable sliding in someone's DMs and just asking them, how can I help you? Then you are in the wrong business to begin with. And I've had clients like that where they just feel like, oh, it's icky if I slide in their DMs. It's conversation. That's how people get to know you, right? And then Facebook, I mean, just the algorithm alone is kind of annoying, but it's better than Instagram, that's for sure, right? So those are some key differences between YouTube and Facebook, but it's understanding your buyer. What type of content do they want to consume? Where are they? As in, what platform are they on? And when they're on that platform, how do they want to buy? I teach this strategy when it comes to going live. I often get people asking me, what time should I go live? And I tell them, you want to be live during the time that people are most likely to watch you and most likely to buy. If you go live during a time that they do not have access to their wallet, you will not make sales on the live. And I know for me, my favorite thing to do is sell live. I like that while I'm live and I'm talking, I'm seeing the money come in. I love doing that. And then I love shouting out the person and saying, hey, so-and-so just joined our VIP. So-and-so just joined our general admissions. I love doing that. And they love hearing it, right? So it's the same thing with the platform. What platform are they on that they're most likely going to buy? That's it. Just as simple as that, right? Okay, so we're talking about the MAP method. If you are struggling to scale your business, you don't have a money problem, you have a marketing problem. The M in the MAP method talks to your shifting your mind. So having a mindset shift when it comes to marketing, shifting the platform that you are on. The A stands for amplifying your presence. Your content helps you to do that, right? So when you are putting out your content, you want to make sure that it's reaching your audience and your presence online is being amplified. Why is this so important? Because people buy from you, not just only because they feel seen and heard, but also because they see you everywhere. So we talked about being omnipresent like Jesus. I've had people buy from me because they saw me on Instagram and then they went to TikTok and saw me again with the same message. That's important. If you are on different platforms with different messaging, that's why people aren't buying from the different platforms. You want to show up with the same message on every platform so that they know that you're consistent and they can see, okay, this person was strategic in the content that they are releasing. So I've gotten sales just based off of that. Okay, so the last one is P, right? And so the P stands for profit pathway. Marketing isn't just about visibility, it's about guiding people down a path to buy. So you need a strategy that nurtures, sells, and keeps clients coming back for more. I just had a live video today with my girl Marina, and we were talking about how you can get clients on repeat. And this is important because it takes a lot of energy to create videos, to put out content. It takes a lot of energy to do that. Even if you're running ads, it takes a lot of money to pour into the ads, right? And so because of that, you're not going to want to every month that starts, you're not going to want to have to try to get new clients every month. The goal is to bring them into your community and upsell them and keep on upselling them, right? Now, some of you have a problem with this because you have a problem with making money and you have a problem with making a lot of money fast. In your mind, you feel like you're cheating people out of their money if they are investing a certain amount of number into your business. If they are investing 10K, 20K, 30K, 50K into your business, you think, oh my goodness, that's too much money. Now, I understand where this mindset comes from. I used to have the mindset. Before I started selling high ticket, I used to think, why would anyone want to pay me $5,000? I used to think that until people started paying me $5,000. But let me tell you what unlocked that. Because I didn't just wake up and people started paying me $5,000. What happened was I had prayed to God and I asked him to send me a business coach. And this business coach, her program was $6,000. And I thought to myself, you want me to pay what? At this time in my life, I hadn't worked for 18 months. So I had every excuse in the book not to invest. I'm grateful that I went against the poverty mindset and moved in the prosperity mindset. Because the day that I put down the initial deposit for her program, The next day, I booked my first 5K client. What shifted? Not just my mind, but also I started to enact a principle here. And there's a principle is found in 2 Corinthians 9, verse 6. It says, those who sow sparingly shall reap sparingly, and those who sow generously shall reap generously. For those of you, the reason why people aren't paying for your high ticket and you're nervous to sell the high ticket is because you haven't invested at a high ticket level yet. You haven't. And if you have invested at 5K, it's time to invest at 50K. Because until you invest in 50K, it's going to be really hard to sell your high tickets. When you invest in another person's business, you unlock something inside of you. You obliterate this limitation that people don't invest at that level. And let me also tell you this, for those of you who are on LinkedIn and you have convinced yourself that your dream clients aren't, your high ticket clients aren't on Instagram and TikTok, it's not true. When you actually start selling on Instagram and TikTok and that first person pays for your 10K offer, it now it eliminates the limitation that you have in believing that people on Instagram and TikTok, they just want to be entertained and they only want to buy low ticket, because it's not true at all. My first, it took me 6 months to sell my first 5K offer live on TikTok. 6 months. During that 6 months, I was perfecting speaking. I was perfecting adding value. I was perfecting building a relationship with my audience. And in that 6th month, someone paid me $5,000 to join my program. Guess what that did? It unlocked something, because after they joined my program, now I had someone else join me at $6,000. I kept at that next year, I was making 10K a month. This is just from Instagram and TikTok. I wasn't running ads. I wasn't on YouTube and I wasn't on LinkedIn. So when I say like your dream clients are also here and they want to pay you high ticket, you just got to show up. And if you're not showing up, they have no way to buy from you, right? So profit pathway. What is the way that people can buy from you after you've released your content? See, for me, we're always, no matter where I am, I have one offer that I'm marketing, and that's our Convert Content to Cash Challenge. And that's on purpose, because when you are marketing too many offers, guess what's going to happen? You're going to confuse your audience. They're going to be like, well, I don't know if they want me to do this, do this, do this. Some of you, the reason why you're not scaling your business is because you don't have one simple system to get your audience from content to cash. Oh, I did that. That was good. And so that's what we show you in the Convert Content to Cash Challenge, how you can get your audience from just browsing, that's them watching your content, to them actually binging your content. So now they're building a relationship with you through your content, to them actually buying from you, right? So we show you that system in just 5 days, so that now when you're showing up, doesn't matter what platform you're showing up on, you are speaking to your dream clients, you are speaking their language, and you are selling to them what they desire to buy from you. So that now when you create the omnipresence by being on different platforms, you have high quality content that's actually speaking to them. The next logical step for them is to buy from you. So if you're in here and you're like, that's what's missing for my business, like you have it down for when you're selling word of mouth, when you're selling through word of mouth and referrals, you have referrals coming in all the time in your business. But you want to get to the next level in your business. That's where social media comes in. But just showing up on social media just because you're the expert, that's not enough. You want to be the expert with a system that works for you, so that you don't have to show up all the time on social media. Last year, I stopped showing up for my audience 6 months into the year. I went through a really tough time last year. I wasn't going live. I think we were barely doing DM marketing, and we were still bringing in clients. That's the power of having a marketing system that works for you. In 2022, every time I went on vacation, I got a new 5K client. And it's not because I met them on vacation. They met my content while I was on the beach sipping pina coladas, virgin pina coladas, right? And they saw my content, loved it, and they paid. They invested. So the same thing can happen for you, but you have to decide that I'm ready for this life. Because here's what happens when you leverage social media the way that you're called to. Fame. You get millions of followers, which means that when you're walking down the street in a grocery store, people are going to notice you. That's why some of you aren't taking social media seriously right now, because you are afraid to be seen. If people see me, will I really be able to serve them? Or will they find out my dirty little secret? Who am I talking to right now? That hit one of you. You was just like, ooh, that's me. The other thing that comes with it is bigger opportunities. When you grow your platform so largely, guess what? Now other people want to invite you to their platforms. You're getting TEDx invites. You're getting Essence Fest invites. You're getting iHeartRadio. You're hanging out with celebrities now. That's what happens because you have transitioned from being a micro influencer or just being someone that no one knows to now everyone knows your name. So everybody wants to be in your circle. Are you ready for that impact? Not only that, number 3 is you get to make a larger impact. You go from impacting people in your inner circle to impacting people all over the world, all over the world. And that's where many of you, God has called you to be. He has called you to impact people all over the world. Your ministry isn't just for the state that you are in. Your ministry is global. And you thought it was going to happen by you hopping on a plane and going from this country to this country, when all actuality, God just wanted you to set up your video camera. And when you shoot, you speak, you reach thousands of people. And the last thing, when you leverage social media the way that you should, is that lots and lots of wealth. This is how you're able to build wealth through your business. There's many of you that God has promised that he is going to bless your business financially. He's going to send you $100,000, $1 million. And you thought that it was going to drop from the air or just be in your mailbox. And that could happen. I've seen it happen. Well, not drop from the air yet. I'll let you know when it happens, when it drops from the air. But in all actuality, God is funneling that money through your business because it is a legal entity in the earth. If he just dropped the money from thin air and then you went to go buy a house, the IRS will be calling you up like, where you get this money from? And you can't tell them it came from heaven, because one, they're going to take you into the insane asylum because they think something's wrong with you. And 2, they're going to think you're a drug dealer, so they're going to heavily tax you. But when God sends the money and it's funneled through your business, guess what? You don't even got to worry about taxes. All you got to do is worry about managing it. I shouldn't even say worry. All you got to do is concern yourself with managing it so that now it becomes this place where you're consistently generating wealth and you're helping others. All right. So if you've been in here and you found this podcast episode such a blessing, oh, thank you, Ms. Javeria. That really means a lot to me. You said you talk very nice. Please go for this is a podcast. This is my podcast episode. It does air live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. But if you want to catch the replay, you can catch the replays on LinkedIn or YouTube. There, as soon as I end, the replays are right there. So I have been posting a lot more on YouTube. So if you are here on Instagram now, feel free to follow me on YouTube. That's where you'll see a lot of my longer form content that will bless you. Our goal over there on YouTube is to do what we're doing now on Instagram and TikTok, but it's to serve you with content that's going to help you to bless your business so that you are consistently generating wealth, right? Like that's our goal. So you can consistently generate that wealth. But if you're in here and you're like, I really loved everything that Star was saying, I need to learn more about the challenge, DM the word challenge accepted on Instagram, LinkedIn, or TikTok, and I will personally send you an invite. I just want to say thank you all for joining me today. Tomorrow, I am going to have a powerful guest on. Her name is Michelle Thames. We met a couple of years ago, but we're also going to be talking about her journey on how she was able to build a successful business using social media online and how she helps you all to do the same thing too. We'll be back again tomorrow with another episode. Y'all have a great day.